should have divested from all of those interests anyway. But the fact that he gave that he gets the $2 billion piece, and then a few months later pardons the guy who was guilty of money laundering and providing money to, or helping to finance the money laundering operation for ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the guys we're fighting in Iran right now, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
I don't.
That's not a problem?
Who he chooses to pardon is not a problem, period. And you're saying all these things that are just not true.
What's the legal basis for that statement?
The Constitution of our United States.
The Constitution does not give
Yes,
him
it
the
does.
authority to
Yes, it
pardon
does.
in exchange for payments.
What
It
does
does
that
not
mean in
permit
exchange for
bribery.
payments? You told me nothing about exchange for payments. You said there's.
Well, I just
You
told
just
you.
put a bunch of facts together.
Well,
and
that's
then
why
leap
you need
to
a special
conclusion.
prosecutor. Shouldn't somebody clearly you're not going to do it. Shouldn't somebody be appointed, a truly experienced prosecutor, to take a look at this and conduct the investigation?
To
And
look
then
at
if he
whether the
reaches the
president did
conclusion that
something
you're
he has
right,
full
that's
authority to
fine.
do?
But if he finds that there's a problem
No,
with what the
you want a
president
special
did or his
prosecutor.
family, then he should move forward with
Time of the
prosecuting that
gentleman
case.
has expired.
I very much disagree.
Mr. Strong.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers and Ranking Member Ming, for convening this hearing. Acting Attorney General Blanche, thank you for being here with us today. I appreciate you and the department for your work supporting law enforcement and addressing evolving threats across this country. As you know, North Alabama and Redstone Arsenal have become a premier hub for the DOJ and FBI operations supporting critical work in counterterrorism, explosives, and ballistic analysis, emerging UAS threats, and coordination across federal agencies. North Alabama has repeatedly demonstrated it can support the nation's most critical missions with a highly skilled workforce, state-of-the-art facilities, and room for continued growth. The funds this committee approved last month include a planned investment in advanced training and operational support at Redstone Arsenal as part of the department's broader efforts to strengthen the FBI's readiness and capabilities. As Acting Attorney General, how do you plan to ensure that these investments support Redstone Arsenal's continued growth as a center for FBI training and operations?
Look, I think you're absolutely right that the facilities that the FBI and ATF have in that area is key to our to protecting our borders and key to everything from our drone anti-drone capabilities that we're working on. And so we're doing things like getting FBI personnel out of DC and down there where they should be working, and same with ATF. And look, there's a very it's an important law enforcement priority of this administration and of me to continue that effort. So I expect that you will see not infrastructure, which we've asked for money on, which we're spending money on, but also getting more of our talented personnel there to continue the mission of the FBI.
Thank you. I also want to echo what my colleagues have said and commend the department for the DOJ's recent aggressive work to combat fraud. For years, bad actors have treated taxpayer-funded programs from pandemic relief, loans to Medicaid and SNAP benefits like their own personal piggy banks. In Minnesota, the Feeding Our Future scheme alone involved more than $250 million in fraud tied to federal children's nutrition and pandemic-era programs. And just last month, the DOJ announced charges against 15 defendants accused of participating in more than $90 million in Medicaid fraud schemes. What steps does the department in taking to ensure that we are not just prosecuting these criminals, but actively clawing back every single stolen taxpayer dollar possible?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I will tell you, every single indictment that you have seen from this department includes meaningful forfeiture efforts, whether it's freezing accounts the day of the arrest or in the time leading up to the arrest, or going after the assets that have been purchased by the defendants as part of our criminal forfeiture efforts. It's as important as arresting the bad guy is trying to recover the assets that they stole from the American taxpayer. It's every single, like I said, every time we make an arrest, every part of our investigation is focused on not only identifying the bad actors, but recovering our assets.
Thank you. Hardworking Americans go to work every day and follow the rules. You know, they're sick and tired of the seeing their tax dollars stolen by scammers and non-U.S. citizens. The time is past due to make sure that we do what needs to be done, and I think that's what America's looking for. I was pleased to vote with the committee to provide the full request of $30 million for the department to hire 100 more attorneys to more effectively combat fraud targeting government programs and the American public. Attorney General Blanche, how will you, the additional attorneys, help ensure the large fraud investigation does not stop with first round of indictments, but continue until every individual who knowingly participated has been identified and where appropriate, and they're appropriately prosecuted?
Yes, and thank you for the vote on the funding. Those prosecutors will help lead that effort. And what we're doing is we're working, this is again an all-government approach. So we're working with HHS, with our other federal partners to identify bad actors. We're working with inspector generals from all these locations and working those cases with FBI, HSI, state and locals in the states that are willing to help us. And that's the whole point of the new fraud division, is to leave, whether you have committed a $1,001 fraud or whether you've committed a $100 million fraud, you should face a felony in this country for stealing from the American taxpayer, and that's what we're committed to doing. As you know, we started a year ago and we're not stopping.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for convening this. Thank you to Ranking Member Mang and Ranking Member DeLauro as well, and thank you to the Attorney General for appearing. I want to associate myself with the remarks by the Chairman, just to say I'm deeply frustrated that the Department is appearing and the Attorney General is appearing here nearly 3 weeks after the subcommittee and full committee have marked up Commerce, Justice, and Science Appropriations Bill. It's deeply troubling. This is not how the appropriations process is expected to work, and we would love to hear from you in the future, and I think we ought to, your budget priorities, question your leadership, what the leadership believes about these. So I just deeply frustrated. I hope it doesn't, I hope next year we don't repeat this. So I just wanted to associate myself with that. I was just curious, just as a follow-up to Mr. Ivey's line of questioning, is it your testimony that if someone paid the President of the United States $1 million for a pardon, that would not violate federal law?
That is not my testimony.
What is your testimony about?
My testimony is that the power to pardon in our Constitution is not limited. So what I mean by that is the President doesn't have to say why he's pardoning.
No, I
not
didn't say that.
pardoning.
I'm asking you, though, so if someone wrote in the memo of a check for $1 million to the President of the United States, any president, said for issuance of a pardon, would that be a violation of federal law?